Hello there everybody, SeKo Beercraft here, watching some pro replays. Go for SC2, two Grandmaster players. We got funkay for team I don't even know. The logo needs a little bit of help. Up against Acer's Nerchio. I'm surprised, they don't even have a little logo. What kind of crap's that? Anywho, it is go for SC2. It is a best of 3. I'm pretty sure this is game number 1, but I could be mistaken. It doesn't matter too much because we're going to go through them anyways. So it is a TvZ, my favorite matchup, on a very large map. We're starting to see a lot more Terran players loving to go into the mech strategies, but Zerg players are getting so good at the swarm host style play that I don't know. Mech, I was going mech before mech was cool. I'm the hipster of Terran mech. You guys don't even know. That was my thing to do against everything. But now that the Zerg players are so used to going up against it, it's becoming a lot easier for them to deal with it. Like, you go for your early, Reaper and Hellion timing, and then after that you just go into your, double, triple factories and your expansions, and they're speaking in another language, so I'm not going to tell you what they're saying. Something about their top 1 GG. Nerchio, I don't know if he's got top 1 unit control, but he's pretty good. So anyways, those Zerg players, if you know that your opponent's going mech, they can't leave for a while. They have to sit in their base and just kind of macro up until they get up to at least like 160 supply. So in that time, you can take like 3 or 4 bases all around the map. You can get up static defenses to make sure that Hellbat drops don't kill you. And then you can have out swarm hosts with great upgrades that contain them in their base. And you can just run away with it. I find it so surprising when I win late game TvZs. Because as a Terran, like, I'm stuck in my base for, 20 minutes, and then finally I can push out if they don't control it well enough. That's like the only way. If you can get great creep spread, great static defenses, that's just enough. So as a Terran meching player, we gotta have to find some new ways to be effective against what is a very, very tough swarm host focused play. And some people find that boring. I like watching Zerg swarm host play. It's so methodical. It's like chess. You just gotta be so good and crisp at it. Just following this rally point to the watchtower. You've got to be so crisp and precise. If you get caught at the wrong point, if you get put on the defensive, if you don't have all the right kind of unit compositions to deal with their mobility, if you don't have air defense in place, you can just lose. It's a knife edge, but it's like a machete knife edge. It kills everything until you kind of do something wrong. So we have Nerchio down on this side. The Terran player will scout here first. Unfortunately, the Lings will be out, I guess, just in time to maybe keep this drone alive. Otherwise, this drone's going to have to go and become an extractor or something. As a Terran player, when I see like any drone at the natural, I just think it's like Christmas. Those are so hard to keep alive. The creep hasn't spread well enough. And you can just get in so much more extra damage. That drone should be moving somewhere else, I would think. It's tempting fate just slightly keeping him on the near side, where this here Reaper can come back in. There's a second Reaper that's now joining it up. And he actually does get the kill on that one. See, I told you, Nerchio. You just gotta pay a bit more attention there. Behind this, there is the factory, low base expansion. Reapers are up in the main. Just scouting to make sure you can see that there are double gases here. Those are pretty early double gases. So I've got to think it's going to be some sort of 2-base Slayer or a Roach timing that's coming out of our Zerg player here. Now we're up to 4 total queens. Speed, we'll see if speed gets started here. You might just forego that and go completely into like a Roach Hydra mix. We already have a 3rd command center going down. This is generally where I deviate in this plan, and I go straight into like another factory and go mass Hellion, and then just go to win. And if I don't win, it goes into like an hour-long game of swarm host versus siege tank. I find it exhilarating, and most people find it probably boring as all F. It is going to be bio play. Shouldn't be too surprised about that. I was kind of hoping for mech a little bit, just a little bit. I still feel like all these guys learn how to mech from me. Like I'm the responsibility of that mech transition. I don't care if the patch says that widowmines got nerfed and tanks got buffed. I still think that it was me. So a couple of Reapers coming in here. 2 queens will be able to ward it off. If it was just 1 queen, we might see those Reapers tangle a little bit more. That's a great thing about the 4-queen defense. And Zerg players, take note, you have to do this stuff against the Terran player if you're very sure that they're going to go into a Hellion and Reaper style. It's just too easy for like 6 Hellions and a couple of Reapers to run through and kill off 8 or 10 drones, and you're crying. So you need the wall off, you need the extra queens, or you need to have a spine crawler down. I find it surprising how much a spine crawler, if it's finished, can just shut down a play. Because I go for a strategy like this and I get out a ton of Hellions and Reapers, and then I get out like somebody gives like a spine crawler to deal with it, and it does so much damage against all those units that if you can just hold off the front with a queen, you can do so much. Creep spread is going very good here for Nerchio. The Terran player's not being able to shut it down very much. Queens will ward that away. Does leave the opening at the front a little bit there, but we haven't seen a ton of Hellions come forward there. Terran player is doing great. Let's look at the overall workers going. Pretty good lead for Nerchio. Still producing the workers. Speed's about to finish up. 1-1 is on the way. Terran player has only got the +1, but his stim pack is almost finished. So he got that started real nice and early. And infestation pit. Now this is kind of strange. This is generally something you'll see if you feel like you're going up against a meching player. Maybe that's what Nerchio is predicting right now. I don't think he's... Let's just see what he has seen. Now he's not seen anything out of the Terran player yet to be able to tell him if it is going to be bio or mech. I mean, there is the melee upgrades happening that are telling me he's still going to stick with some sort of zergling style play. But you'd be getting a spire now and not an infestation pit. This is generally if you want swarm hosts to deal with any heavy meching play. It could be an old school throwback and just go for pathogen glands. There we go. Maybe some burrow. I'd like to see some burrow. And just go start sharking out the Terran player. Love doing that. So classy. Terran player is already predicting a Mutalisk transition, so he's already got them their missile turrets in his minnow line just to make sure. And he's got the rest of his upgrade facilities on the way. So this might be just a really great fake out by Nerchio. Getting up a huge economy. Would like some static defenses down. At this stage of the game, it's really hard to invest in static defenses though, because every dollar matters. It's not like you're at the 20-minute mark where you've got a little bit of extra minerals just chilling. Good chunk of roaches in place right now. Now roaches obviously do great against bio. Now Nerchio is a bit supply blocked right now. Starting a couple overlords. Pathogen glands is finished. Queen's taking a little bit of damage right now. He really doesn't want to lose the queens. This is a pretty nice little drop here by funkay. His units are very beat up. And I'm sure he's very, very happy that there isn't a spire play, because these medevacs would be toast. Is that hive? It is going into hive. That's one of the fastest hives I've seen in a long time. He started at like the 11-minute mark. Queen's putting a few pot shots. Terran's got another base started. Another army already macroing up with lots of widow mines. 2-2 is even like the upgraded lead for the Zerg player is also very exciting. I find it exciting because usually you don't see that unless the Zerg player starts very early focusing on upgrades. Let's only get a couple of Marines here, but we might be able to get a few kills with that. This army is still chilling at the back. Nerchio does have a sixth sense there for sniffing those things out. Don't lose the queen. Does actually keep the queen alive with just a couple of hits left on it, so that's very good for Nerchio. He's actually spanning towards his opponent. The creep is moving along great, but this is like just across the bend. It's pretty easy as a Terran player to create some great chokes on these sides, because you know you're attacking to the south anyways. This base can become very much a point of contention. Well, he did have another base over here. Oh man, widow mines. Those widow mine shots actually... Oh, that one was pretty good. Those widow mine shots were terrible. Except for that one was really good. The infestors are out. Where are... There's the observer. Try to hit it with a fungal. And this is where you need those static defenses in place. Just to keep you safe long enough to deal with any of these shenanigans from a very drop-happy Terran player. Pretty good lead in overall supply for Nerchio. He's going after one of the fastest ultraless techs I think I've ever seen. Adrenal glands on the way, chitinous plating, and more drops are just heading across the bend once again. Let's see if he drops and goes after this base. I kind of would expect him to. Did this drop get cleaned up? It looks that way. He must have hit it with a fungal. Queen actually escapes out of that, which is hilarious. Oh, there's the drop. Terran player's not paying the best attention right now. That will get cleaned up. This double drop. He sees the Ultralisks now. I wonder how he's going to be able to deal with that. Like, the Terran economy isn't massive right now, but the trouble with going with this very heavy ground style is there's nothing to hit this stuff in the air. Terran army is now 2-1, I believe, yes. There are Marauders, at least in the composition, to help deal with this kind of build. But the Terran player, I was about to say, was doing a great job of keeping the Zerg player at home. That's a lot of units. Adrenal glands is finished, so these are all 4-2. Infestors in the back actually wasted a fungal on a few SCVs. There's a pretty good fungal. Whoa, SCVs getting massacred. Funkay is just bleeding supply here. Fungals are amazing. And I think this was such a smart build out of Nerchio that he didn't overcommit into these Ultralisks until he had the infestors in place with the fungals. Very easy to get too committed into Ultralisks, and then you get kited like that. And all the Ultralisks just go down to this upgraded Marauder army. Roach is picking on the base over here. Zerglings taking out supply depots. This base forced to lift. This base did get killed. You know, give that a little bit of credit to the Terran player. It looks like he will come over and punish the other base. It's just that at this point he isn't mining a ton. He's mining from his main. All of his other bases had been lifted up. What's the overall worker count now for the Terran? He's down to 13 workers. A couple of fungals now with this army. Now this Ultralisk, though they're beefy, very beefy, these Marauder armies cut through so fast. I'd be kind of expecting a bit of a tech switch out of Nerchio soon. He's still stuck on 3 bases against a Terran that's struggling to be on 2 bases. Would like to see some sort of potential next positional tech switch. Good fungal is going to lock down a lot of those Marauders and going to get cleaned up by this really interesting hybrid army. Like, the Roaches have no attack upgrades. They're just really there to put the hurt on. It hurt real bad. Zerglings with the adrenal glands and all these upgrades are carving through stuff really quick. Look at all the mules, which are just running around like idiots right now. Could at least be blocking the way. And there's the GG from funkay. That was such a cool style from Nerchio. I like that a lot. Really, really fast hive tech, straight into ultras with the fungal growths. That seems like such a risky strategy. It's so expensive. But just a great game out of Nerchio. We played that super well. That's a best of 3 series though. We're going on to game number 2, SeKo Starcraft. We'll see you guys in just a minute.